All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolute giant of a book, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I mean, for almost 100 years now, this thing has been guiding millions of people. So, let's break down its core philosophy and figure out how you can actually use this stuff.
Okay, so the central idea of this book, it's pretty radical, even for today. Napoleon Hill is basically saying that your thoughts aren't just these, fleeting little signals in your brain. He says they're things. Real, tangible forces. And when you mix a thought with a clear purpose, a ton of persistence, and this burning desire, he says it can literally shape your reality. It can create actual material wealth.
I mean, that sounds incredible, right? But it also raises a pretty massive question. Like, how? How exactly does some idea in your head turn into cold, hard cash in your bank account? Well, that's precisely what we're going to unpack right now, step by step.
And to get that answer, we've got to start where every single achievement begins, right inside your mind. See, Hill's argument is that before any great empire or fortune is ever built out there in the real world, it has to exist first as a powerful, focused thought. So, let's look at the story of a guy named Edwin C. Barnes. This man had one single, all-consuming goal. He wanted to become a business associate of the great Thomas Edison. Just one problem, or actually a few problems. He was flat broke. He didn't know Edison from Adam, and he couldn't even scrape together the money for a train ticket to get to his office.
So what did he do? He jumped on a freight train, a hobo train, basically. He shows up at Edison's laboratory looking, well, like a tramp. But he walks right in and declares exactly why he's there. And Edison himself said later that there was just something in Barnes's eyes, something in his expression that screamed he was absolutely determined to get what he came for. It wasn't his resume, it was the sheer force of his thought, that unshakable desire that got him his chance.
In that story, man, it just perfectly illustrates the very first pillar of Napoleon Hill's entire philosophy. See, it's not enough to just want something or to wish for it. You have to possess what he calls a burning desire. That right there is the real starting line for any major achievement.
Now, what's so powerful about Hill's idea is that he doesn't just leave desire as some vague, fuzzy feeling. No, he turns it into a practical 6-step formula. Step 1, get super specific. Fix the exact amount of money you want in your head. Not just, I want to be rich. Second, you have to decide exactly what you're going to give in return. There are no free lunches. Third, set a definite date, a hard deadline. Fourth, create a specific plan to get there. And finally, 5 and 6, this is where you really lock it in. You write it all down in a clear statement, and you read that statement out loud twice a day. You're basically programming your own mind for success.
Okay, so you've got this intense desire, right? But now it needs a roadmap. It needs direction. And that brings us right to pillar number 2, a definite plan. I love this analogy. Your burning desire is the fuel. It's the raw power. But the plan? That's the engine, the steering wheel, the whole vehicle. Without a plan, all that desire is just energy burning up with nowhere to go. So, according to Hill, a really solid plan has 3 key ingredients. First up is specialized knowledge. He's really clear on this. General knowledge, knowing a little about a lot, won't make you rich. You need deep, organized, specialized expertise. Second is imagination. He calls this the workshop of the mind. It's where you take that specialized knowledge and forge it into a unique plan. And third, and this one's a game changer, you need what he called a mastermind alliance.
So, what in the world is a mastermind? Well, simply put, it's when you get 2 or more people together working in perfect harmony, all focused on the same definite purpose. Hill's theory was that when you do this, you create this third, invisible, intangible mind that's way more powerful than the sum of its parts. Think about Henry Ford and his team, or Steve Jobs and Wozniak. It's proof that massive success rarely, if ever, happens completely alone.
All right, you can have the most intense desire in the universe, and you can have the most brilliant, detailed plan ever created, but both of them are completely worthless without the third and final pillar, unwavering persistence. Honestly, this is the one. This is what separates the people who actually make it from all the people who almost did.
And Hill tells this just gut-wrenching story to drive this point home. It's about a guy named R.U. Darby, whose uncle went out to Colorado and actually struck gold. He started digging, things were going great, and then the vein of gold ore just disappeared. So he gave up, quit. He sold all his mining equipment for pennies on the dollar to a local junkman. Well, that junkman was smart. He hired an engineer who took a look and realized the original miners didn't know about fault lines. The gold vein was still there, just 3 feet from where Darby's uncle had stopped digging. 3 feet away from a massive fortune.
Now, Darby learned a lesson from his uncle's mistake that ended up making him a very rich man. And the lesson was this: temporary defeat is not permanent failure. It's just a setback. His uncle treated it like the end of the road and quit. But Darby, he got it. He internalized this simple, brutal truth. A winner never quits, and a quitter never wins.
So when you put all these pieces together, the desire, the plan, the persistence, it leads to a really profound conclusion. You have way, way more power over your own life than you probably think you do. You really are the captain of your own ship.
The whole philosophy really boils down to this simple but incredibly powerful 3-part framework. It all works together. Your burning desire, that's your why. Your definite plan, that's your how. And your unwavering persistence, that's what makes sure you actually get there, turning those temporary defeats into your ultimate victory.
And this all circles back to maybe the most famous line from the entire book. The reason you are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, is because you have the power to control your thoughts. That is the one thing no one can take from you. And like we said at the very beginning, thoughts are things.
So that really just leaves one final question. It's not from Hill, it's for you. If your thoughts are really the blueprint for your reality, if they are the raw material you use to build your future, then what thoughts are you choosing right now to build your destiny with? That's the real secret to thinking and growing rich.